Next, you'll want to take a deep breath and feel the vibrations changing. I was once told by a very wise woman that if you wanted to speak from your heart, you should really say it in song. So, thank you so much.
That's Amy G. I missed you, Amy.
Oh, I'm back, Moses, I'm back.
That's so good.
Thank you. I didn't expect that he was going to play that. That was my last appearance here at Idea City 6 years ago. And for everybody that is bound to ask me how, I have 2 words for you, especially women, listen up. Yoga. Okay, so the last time I was here, and thank you for having me back, Moses. It's such an incredible pleasure. Last time I was here, my big idea that I wanted to share was that as humans, we connect at our weakest points, not our strongest, not the parts that we want to share, but the parts that we would really rather keep hidden, those moments of vulnerability where the crack in our very carefully constructed facade ekes open. And if I know myself well enough, I probably made a joke at that moment saying that if you want to make friends, show them your crack. Now, I set to thinking, since it's been 6 years since I've been back at Idea City, how many times have I had the opportunity to actually do that, to expose my crack, as it were? And I counted them up, and it's been exactly 10,804 times that I have exposed my crack to an audience of unsuspecting strangers. Now, why have I done that so many times, you ask? And I say because I am a clown and I have a crack habit. I could be your mayor. So this time around, I have another idea that I'd like to share. And this is a very old idea and one that I have heard echoed in every single person's story that has been up here in the past couple days. And that is that the opportunity to fail is sacred and should be sought out. Now, they put me in a very esteemed group of adventurers and rock climbers and people who chase the Taliban and the White Army, and my story is not quite so dangerous. But maybe you will relate, because I grew up a very shy girl. a incredibly, clinically shy girl, actually. I was a perfectionist, and I feared failure more than anything in the world. It's just, a upper middle class upbringing with parents with very high expectations, but this was the effect that it had on me. I was a smart girl, but I spent most of my time in hall closets. There was something about it, the darkness and the quietude and the fact that nobody was looking at me. I was gone completely unjudged in those moments in the closet, and that allowed my creativity to fly free. And in the closet, I designed so many fantastic musicals and hilarious antics that I would perform on people without their knowing at the next dinner party. And I wrote songs and choreographed dances, and none of it existed because I was too scared to share it. So what I want to offer today is the opportunity to a person in this auditorium to experience the opportunity to fail in front of an audience of very smart, important people, like I experience every time I go out on stage. Now, I did feel that hush right after the uncomfortable laughter, and I hope that works on you in a couple of different ways. What I feel is that most of us don't have this opportunity, or at least we shelter ourselves from this opportunity to fail at whatever cost. Companies do the same thing. There are teams of consensus makers and managers that are overseeing decisions based on market analysis groups and focus groups and whatever. I mean, I don't really speak corporatese, can you tell? But as an independent performing artist, every time I venture onto the stage or even book myself for a gig in a foreign locale, I face that fear of failure head on. And I started my career as a stunt clown with the Daredevil Opera Company, which was at the time a Canadian pyrotechnic clown theater company, and we blew shit up and took big falls and did crazy things, and it all added up to my learning that the more at risk you put yourself, the more interested the audience would be. I continued my expression through the theatrical arts and ended up doing more theatrical clowning. And I discovered there the same thing was true, except it became even more true when you put your ego on the line. Because everybody knows what it feels like to have your ego on the line, much more so than being shot out of a cannon. So now I find myself an international performing artist. I write and perform and produce my own shows, my own material worldwide. And I do that with groups, and I do that solo, and I do that in English, which I speak fluently, and I do that in one of 4 other languages, which I speak varying degrees of very badly. And actually, 2 weeks ago, I had a kind of surprise gig in Buenos Aires. And I had 2 days to translate and learn and memorize 4 of my acts in Spanish, in Argentine Spanish at that, which I do not speak. So you can imagine it. I was just drilling my mind, and the little perfectionist that is at work. I was a perfectionist. I am now a recovering perfectionist. I mean, you could say I live in the past perfect tense. I used to think I was perfect. Now I realize I was just tense. So there I was, my little recovering perfectionist mind, really trying to learn all the Spanish and get the accent right and really get the porteño thing and really understand what it was I was up there to do and remember everything I was doing and do it on roller skates. And there I was in the middle of my act, and I completely lost my way. I had no idea what I was saying, what I was supposed to be doing, where I was, what the hell? And I felt that fear, that failure, that shame of failure just starting to bubble up in me, and I could feel it just echoing out all over the 1,400 crazy, beautiful Argentinians that were surrounded on all sides of me. And I realized there was one way out of this. I said in English, I don't really speak Spanish, can you tell? And the laughter that erupted from the audience was not just the relief of my shame, but it was the relief of the shame that everybody was feeling for me. This was enormous. The Germans actually have a word for it. I do quite a bit of work in Germany, and they actually have a word for the shame that you feel for somebody else when they don't feel it. Fremdeschämen, right? He's like, I'm Canadian, I don't speak German. Now, this is a thing that I've come up a lot against, especially in countries that feel more cultural shame than in America. In America, we have very little, as you know. In Germany, there's quite a bit to come up against. And I started looking at shame and really digging into it and figuring out what is it about this stuff that gets in the way of our good time. And I have now made a show called Entershamement, which takes everything that I've ever been ashamed of, that has long been festering in the dark and secrecy of the inner parts of my soul, and I've sent it up with a comic slapstick treatment, and for the fun and enjoyment of those around me. And it has had a really fantastic effect on those shames. They're pretty much all, I'm pretty recovered from them by now, and I feel fairly shameless, except for the shame of failure. Because every time I go out on stage, including today when I'm freaking out back there just before I'm coming out here, I'm terrified because I want to do well. But it is not important to do well, I'm here to say. It is important to do. And I think that that's what any one of these people here would say. I know that that's the truth for you as well as it is for me. I know that you may be comfortable in your company, in your family, in your institution, and maybe you tell your kids that it's okay to fail, but that's okay. But when was the last time that you actually set out in front of people that you cared about something that you were not sure was going to work? I venture to say that if you want to push yourself, you want to push your product, you want to push your idea, you need to find a way to fail. Seek it out, because unless you are a very lucky person, like the person I'm going to select in just a few moments, that opportunity to fail will not come to you. And there is no shame in it. It is an incredibly sacred experience to fail, or to even just be up against failure. A daredevil act is always interesting, always riveting, because the daredevil comes out changed. If the daredevil comes out actually having succeeded at whatever it was that they were doing, they are a new kind of person that can succeed at that. And if they don't succeed, then they have had the honor of stepping up and meeting their maker. And with the new perspective of having failed, get to start again. So how do we do this? How do we do this? First, you find yourself a precarious position. That'll do. Then you find yourself an audience of people that you care about. Done. Then you take yourself to a new locale, whether that's in your study, in your mind, in your geography, whatever it is. You take a new locale where you are not necessarily as comfortable as before. Like, let's say, where did my bobby pin go? Well, let's just face that opportunity to fail, too. Like Spain. Then you give yourself a spin, you take a deep breath, and you decide, thank you, darling. And you do exactly what needs to be done in that moment to survive. And woo, watch out. Feel no shame in this moment, because as we know, people like to watch. I just got back from Spain. I went to go see a flamenco show, and the bailarina in the club, she was so Angry. That bitch was angry. She looked like she had been betrayed by an hombre muy guapo. Furiosa she was, and simultaneously strangely aroused. Many caballeros in the club, they want her. And a few of the women. But she will have none of it. Her broken heart, it burns for him and him alone. She dance alone. She throw daggers with her ojos. She throw tantrums with her feet. Don't you love this dress? Oh my God, it almost didn't come in the mail. Well, it wasn't in the mail, but in the thing. I gotta tell you, this thing is so happy. You can tell it's happy too, because it smiles. But the bailarina was not smiling. For on this night in Barcelona, who appears at the back of the club? Who appears but El Guapo? Oh, her heart stopped. The musica, she stopped. She did not know that he would be here tonight. He did not know he would play a major part in the show. But he will. Just you with the glasses in the blue. He will. Sí, señor. Come to the stage. Es guapo, no? Flamenco clap. Oh, es guapo. You are so lucky. Don't you feel lucky?
I don't know.
Ah, good. Excellent. You don't need that. Okay, no. So, did you ever be guapo before?
No.
No. Okay, dos cosas importantes de ser el guapo, okay? Cosa importante número uno. When guapo he walk like he have load in pants. Peligroso load, eh? Es perfecto! Cosa importante número dos. El guapo que no resist my R doble. So when you hear my R doble, you ven a me. You come to me. See? With load. You got it? Perfecto. Okay, so now es guapo, sí, pero no suficientemente guapo. Un momentito, por favor. It's not such a problem, but you know, this is a big opportunity, so turn around, sí. Perfecto. Turn around, sí. Okay. Sí, es guapo. Okay. So because this is such a pain in the ass to get to your chair, I leave you right here. Okay? You come right there, have a seat. Okay. And you know what you must do. When you hear the rrr, you perfecto. Okay. So, we begin back at the beginning. Yes. So everybody know where we be. Música, por favor. So who appears on this night in Barcelona? Who appears at the front of the club but El Guapo? Her heart stopped. The música, she stopped! Her cheeks are afire in humiliation. and desire. He want to cry out. Move your mouth big. Lo siento ya. Ay, 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 ay. But she will not understand him because my accent is so bad. This sala so still, you can almost hear her heart break again. Somebody break something. Oh, you know how to hurt a girl. She sing. I touch your lips and all at once his sparks go flying. Those devil lips know so well the art of lying. And though I see the danger, still the flame grows higher. I know I must surrender to your kiss of fire. I can't resist you. What good is there in trying? What good is there denying? You're all that I desire. Since first I kissed you, my heart was yours completely. If I'm a slave, then it's a slave I want to be. Don't pity me. Don't pity me. Guapo, what you doing here? You don't call, you don't text, you just show up? And you ain't got nada in your manos, just so you know, when you go to see the ballerina in her place of business, you bring something, okay? You bring rosas, you bring chocolate, you bring algo. You ain't got shit! Oh, una rosa para mí, papito mi rey. Ooh, it's so long with such a big head. I like it, I like it. You give me your falsa floras. You give me your fake love. Get out! Give me your lips, the lips you only let me borrow. Allow me tonight, let the devil take tomorrow. I know that I must have your kiss, although it dooms me, though it consumes me. Your kiss of fire, your kiss of El Guapo, what is your name?
Bill.
Bill, señoras y señores, El Guapo, Bill! You are marvelous, Bill.
Thanks.
Completely marvelous. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just say that I do these audience participation acts every once in a while. Well, quite a bit, actually. And let me tell you, everybody is always terrified. Everybody is so afraid that they are going to mess up and everybody's going to see. And in every time I do it, he always turns out a hero. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Bill, the hero! Thank you. Thank you. I'm here for you. What do you want with me? You gotta have your dirty way with me, whether I like it or not, I know.
Amy.